Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. We're live on the network service of the NTA. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. The new federal cabinet is our starting point today. Nigerians have high expectations on the newly sworn-in ministers and are hopeful that the new Federal Executive Council will hit the ground running. Over now to Abdulkarim Mohammed Zurmi for more.
Experts on Good Morning Nigeria commended the selection of the cabinet and emphasized on the need for the new ministers to work as a team towards the delivery of good governance and the dividends of democracy. Touching on the various sectors of the economy and other aspects of nation building, the guests harped on the need for substantial turnaround in the power sector, especially in the areas of transmission and distribution, as that would translate in a boost in the economy.
Developing local capacity is very important. We have universities of technology all over Nigeria. So what stops us from exploring what we can do as a nation in terms of cost saving? Because Nigeria is rich in terms of resources, but that resources has not translated into physical cash with which we can do so many things.
Measures for handling the challenges in the education and health sectors to the human resources development were also recommended on the program.
To create an environment for them to emerge as useful citizens, both to the country and to themselves, citizens who will be of high quality that we can entrust this nation to in the future.
It's about national prestige. It's about our country that, look, we can do it. And it's about believing the system.
Certain that there's a lot to be done, Nigerians, they say, are hopeful for a better future. In Abuja, Abdulkarim Mohammed Zurmi, NTA News.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has always emphasized that his vision is to put Nigeria on a track that will make the country self-sufficient in basic food, eradicate poverty and create jobs for the youth. Now that the new Federal Executive Council has been inaugurated and Ministers of Agriculture appointed, correspondent Musa Baba Aliyu takes a look at the task before the new ministers.
These young farmers might not be interested in knowing who was appointed the Minister of Agriculture. Their hope, however, is their agricultural activities to continue to grow and expand as it has been since 2016. For the past 4 years, the federal government, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, has been implementing a policy known as Green Alternative, designed to identify and unlock all the challenges affecting crop production in the country. The policy has successfully pushed up the country's food production, thereby boosting export of Nigerian agricultural produce.
Our farmers have made great strides in local production of rice, maize, cassava, poultry, fertilizer, fisheries, and system.
Export promotion, economic diversification, import substitution, and forest creation. Job creation. So whoever is coming right now should follow these 4 pivotal areas, core areas of the green revolution of this government.
Muhammad Sabo Nanono is the new Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, while Mustafa Baba Shahuri would serve as a Minister of State in the same ministry.
If we organize ourselves and we produce and produce, we can colonize the entire West African sub-region without firing a bullet. Because most of them depend on us, on what we produce here. So it's something that is very crucial to this country, and it's something that is very important to our internal security.
Let's eat what will produce and export the excess for our socio-economic growth has been the campaign by President Muhammadu Buhari from the very first day he assumed office. And this campaign is being taken to the next level, where millions of Nigerians, most especially rural farmers, are expected to be pushed out of poverty. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And still on agriculture, the Federal Ministry has trained farmers in Benue State on how to establish and manage various high-yielding cassava varieties to enhance their income and increase the nation's gross domestic product. Charles Abba reports that the program is in conjunction with the Benue State Agricultural Research and Development Authority.
With the identification of agriculture by the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari as the main sector that can produce quick results for the diversification of the economy, the federal government has continued to devise ways of achieving the objective. This informed the training of farmers on production of improved varieties of cassava in Benue State, which is adjudged by experts to have comparative advantage over other states.
We want Benue people to start farming as a business, no longer just farming for subsistence level.
Program Manager, Benue State Agricultural Research and Development Authority, Celestine Pine, explained that cassava has the potential to be converted into 50 value addition, capable of generating huge revenue for farmers and the nation. Mr. Pine, who further demonstrated the technical processes of planting cassava to the trainees, said, the perennial crop comes in improved varieties coded IBA 011368, 30572, NK 3080, and the recent TME 419, which is disease resistant, yields higher, and has shorter time of harvest.
It's cassava that grows everywhere. And secondly, because of the diverse nature of its processing and its ability to hold the food of the people and control hunger, because yam is costly, rice is expensive, but cassava, gari, akpu and everything. So the federal government saw that, let us go into what is actually going to benefit everybody.
Agesho and Mercy Amom were among the farmers who described the training as innovative.
Even the resource officers have delivered the lecture very well, and the message is well taken. So it will help us even when we go back on the field.
The cassava stems in planting, I didn't know initially that the 5 eyes has to go inside. It was a new thing to me, and I feel good.
Right there are farmers that are gathered undergoing the practical aspect of the planting of cassava stems. And right here is the variety, or rather species, that is known as 419. From the demonstration farm, Charles Abba, NTA News.
And a report just in says President Muhammadu Buhari has commissioned the Zaria Water Supply Expansion Project. The project is expected to supply water to over 2 million people in the city of Zaria and its surroundings. Still in Zaria, President Buhari also assured Nigerians that his administration will not rest until it delivers on its commitments on quality education, including investing more resources in the sector and providing a conducive learning environment in the academia. A statement signed by Senior Special Assistant to the President, Media and Publicity Femi Adesina states that the President was speaking at the commissioning of the Postgraduate Center of Excellence built by the Central Bank of Nigeria at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. The President said the federal government has invested close to 1.3 trillion naira towards the development of the education sector in the last 4 years, excluding funds spent on overhead and personnel costs. The President expressed concern over the state of facilities in Nigerian universities due to long years of perennial funding challenges. President Buhari promised that his administration will continue to place premium on education at all levels. And you're on to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Time to take a break. We'll return shortly.
His Royal Highness, the Emir of Gondu, Major General Muhammad Ilyas Bashar, CFR MNI, on behalf of the family of Al-Hajj Muhammad Saad Abubakar, CFR MNI, the Sultan of Sokoto, cordially invite the pleasure of friends and well-wishers to the wedding party of Fatima Abubakar and Mahmoud Abdullah Yuguda, which will take place at Sultan Bello Jumat Mosque, Sokoto. Date, Saturday, 21st August 2019. Time, 12 p.m. Announcer, Local Organizing Committee.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first, get it fresh.
Thanks for rejoining us, and moving to other reports now. The Presidential Election Petition Court has dismissed the petition of the Hope Democratic Party and its candidate Ambrose Owuru. In a unanimous judgment, the five-man petition court led by Justice Mohammed Garba gave the verdict this Thursday. The court maintained that the petition was a pre-election matter, thereby denying the court the jurisdiction to entertain it. The Presidential Election Petition Court also ruled that the petitioners having filed the same process at the Federal High Court was an abuse of court process. The five-man Presidential Election Petition Court also ruled that referendum conducted by the petitioners was not the legal way of electing the president and the vice president in Nigeria. In the light of this, the court dismissed the petition for lack of jurisdiction and gross abuse of court process. The Hope Democratic Party in the petition claimed that its candidate in the referendum conducted on February 16, 2019 polled 15 million votes and urged the court to declare him winner of the election. With this verdict, the Presidential Election Petition Court has only one petition pending before its adjudication. The dismissed Lance Corporal Ajayi Johnson, the army officer who shot and killed Chimobi Nwogu, the Okada rider in Abia State, has been formally handed over to the Abia State Police Command for prosecution. While handing over the suspect, the commander, 14 Brigade Ohafia, said no form of indiscipline will be tolerated in the army. Over now to Dennis Temple.
The alleged killing of an Okada rider Chima Ubi Nwogu in a remote community in Obinga local government area of Abia State by a soldier, Lance Corporal Ajayi Johnson, has been condemned by all well-meaning people of Abia. He was allegedly shot and killed by the officer for refusal to part with a sum of 100 naira demanded from him.
We want to know why that particular officer decided to shoot a harmless individual from behind. What an act of cowardice.
The truth of what has happened here must be investigated thoroughly.
But not an army officer, because they're supposed to be trained. And they are supposed to protect the citizens of this nation.
The army are supposed to live above God. They should respect this country.
In a swift reaction, the Nigerian army has dismissed the Lance Corporal and assured the public that the culprit will be brought to book in line with the rules of military engagement. The brigade commander, 14th Brigade of Warfare, Brigadier General Solomon Kumpai, described the action as extrajudicial killing.
We reduced him in rank. He used to be a lance corporal. We reduced him to a private soldier. And then we also dismissed him from the Nigerian army for not acting professionally.
The suspected murderer has been handed over to the Nigerian Police Command for further prosecution. The suspect will soon appear in court. In Umuahia, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
And still staying with the Southeast, security agencies in Imo State have been provided with 80 utility vehicles by Governor Emeka Ihedioha to aid the fight against insecurity across the 27 local government areas of the state. Loretta Arinze Ingwem reports that the security agencies are to operate as a task force codenamed Operation Iron Gate.
The Joint Security Task Force Operation Iron Gate is made up of major security outfits in Imo State. Governor Emeka Ihedioha says the security of life and property of Imo people is of utmost importance to his administration. He added that his government will partner private investors towards improving the security architecture in the state with a view to enhancing investment and economy.
I will advise everyone that we have to ensure that reasons why local government councils acquire vehicles will be for them to work 24/7. When you work with them, the peace of our land will be assured.
The Imo State Commissioner of Police assured the state governor that it will maximize the facilities provided towards combating crime across the state.
Operation Iron Gate, which is contained in this document, product of all the security agencies in this state, took care of everything that your dream has to secure Imo.
In Owerri, Loretta Arinze Ingwem, NTA News.
The Nigerian delegation to the 2019 Edinburgh Royal Military Tattoo has sustained its excellent performance since the event got underway, to the admiration of spectators. Anthony Forson in Edinburgh spoke to some officials of the Nigerian team ahead of the next outing, which will be dedicated to Nigeria.
Nigeria has consistently received applause and cheers since the event got underway about a month ago. A combination of 120 military personnel from the Gas Brigade alongside a 30-member cultural troupe made up the team. Lieutenant Colonel Mukhtar Sani Daroda is leader of the military team, while Abiodun Abi is the artistic director.
Nothing short of spectacular. We are privileged to be part of the team that has represented Nigeria very well in this particular event, which is a celebration of international military bands.
We are looking at something that will show, the unity in spite of our diversity, and we look at, that cultural tool that is flamboyant, and we agree that marriage should do it for us. And with marriage, we are able to tell the world that yes, we are a nation of diverse culture, but in spite of that diversity, there's unity.
With Nigeria set to lead Thursday's outing, what is the feeling and expectation like?
Will be the best outing that Nigeria probably will be able to showcase. What we have done is already excellent, but we are going to make sure that we do more.
We believe our masquerade will dance very well, at least, to the admiration of everybody that will be there, and to let them know that we are good ambassadors of that country, and we are really going to show the stuff that we are made of.
From Edinburgh, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And this is Nationwide. Time now for us to join Felicia in Jos for top stories from that zone. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you, Hawa, and welcome to Jos. Governor Simon Bako Lalong says his administration will monitor and ensure the closure of substandard and illegal schools with a view to ensuring citizens have access to quality education in the state. The governor stated this when he received 17-year-old Favor Movell, who emerged overall best in the 2019 West African Senior School Certificates Examination. Ashezi Gopep has the details.
Favor Movell had distinction in all the 9 subjects he sat for and also scored 323 points in his Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME). To reward hard work and academic excellence, the governor promised to grant Favor scholarship to study any course of his choice if he is not comfortable with the one already offered him by the federal government.
Let me just congratulate and also say thanks be to God. Congratulate the preparator, because without effort put like this, you can't produce the likes of Favor. And right from the inception of this government, we say the best legacy you can leave is to leave education for the younger ones.
The award-winning student, Favor Movell, said he was honored to be received by the governor and promised to do his best.
Many children have great potential. All they need is just encouragement. Just do it, we're behind you, and you've done much more than that. I'm truly grateful.
His parents were also full of gratitude to the governor for honoring their son. They attributed Favor's excellent performance to God and hard work on the part of their son. In Jos, Ashezi Gopep, NTA News.
300 secondary school girls across the 3 senatorial districts of Plateau State are to benefit from an information and communication technology training sponsored by the wife of Plateau State Governor Regina Lalong. Alisa Botukaye Andrew reports that 100 girls have so far commenced the Cisco Get Connected training program.
The training is to expose the girls to foundational skills in ICT while acquiring vital 21st century career skills in problem solving, collaboration and critical thinking, among others. The coordinator Support Women Initiative to Transform Children Switch Foundation, Dr. John Junong, who represented Mrs. Lalong, accessed the 100 girls undergoing the Cisco Get Connected training, said these skills will enable them scale through their e-exams and beyond.
When you are writing your JAM and other, you will be able to effectively use computer without any hitches.
The girls were trained in Internet of Things, cyber security, and get connected to build their capacity on how to maintain a network, to operate the computer system and use it efficiently.
The work that is ahead of us after today is how to upload these children to the internet and give each of them a login password and an autonomous access to the curriculum, so that long after we are gone from here, they will still be accessing the course material.
I'm so grateful for her. She challenged many young girls.
The tour also afforded the Switch team the opportunity to pay a visit to the local government chairman of Pangshin local government area, where the wife of the governor was applauded for her numerous projects for the women folk in the grassroots. Alisa Batukai Andrew, NTA News.
The Deputy Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly and ad hoc committee chairman on flood disasters, Saleh Yekmun, has appealed to communities ravaged by flood in the southern part of the state to learn to adhere to building codes to mitigate any future occurrence and other environmental challenges. The committee chairman was speaking when he led other committee members on an assessment of the areas. Ashezi Gopep reports.
Several farmlands in Kona Longkat in Pangshin, Kalong in Shandang, as well as communities along Lantang, Pangshin Road in Lantang North local government areas were recently ravaged by flood following heavy rainfall in the areas. More than 100 hectares of rice farmland have been submerged by the flood. Worried by the devastating effects and the untold hardship caused to residents, members representing the communities presented a motion on the floor of the House of Assembly calling for government intervention. This prompted the ad hoc committee on flood disaster not to leave anything to chance but swung into action for on-the-spot assessment.
All hands have to be on deck, possibly from the local government to state, and definitely get to the federal, so that we cushion the effect of the losses that people incur.
Residents of the communities who are still counting their losses lamented over the unfortunate incident. They expressed concern that the development is a threat to food security in view of the agricultural potential of the affected communities. Ashes Gupep, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Jos. Nationwide continues with Hawa in Abuja.
Many thanks, Felicia. And as the federal government focuses more attention on addressing the plight of internally displaced persons in Nigeria, there is a clamor for government to revisit ceding the Bakassi Peninsula to Cameroon. This is in anticipation of tackling the infrastructural needs of the Bakassi returnees in their resettlement areas. Over now to Michael Olale.
It's 13 years since the Green Tree Agreement was signed by Nigeria and Cameroon, which formally laid to rest the over 100 years border dispute between the two countries and ceded the oil-rich peninsula to Cameroon. Located between the Cross River Bay near the city of Calabar, Bakassi is home to over 300,000 inhabitants, out of which 100,000 were not willing to reside under the Cameroonian authority. The spread across internally displaced camps in Nigeria, Incheng Immaculate has seen it all. She's one of the refugees from Cameroon who had to cope with the hardship and pains of residing there. She is now living a new life, courtesy of the IDP camp provided by the federal government, but a hard bliss for thousands of people who are refugees in their homeland.
My mom called me last week and she told me things are not moving well. That is still really rough.
I thank the Refugee Commission here in Nigeria because they're trying to see that I should pick up something doing.
A former member of the National Assembly, Senator Florence Itagiwa, is from Bakassi local government.
Let Nigeria go and revisit that Green Tree Agreement. Let Nigeria go and develop that area that we have found, that we can be there because it's suitable to our way of life. We are fishermen, we like that place. And then we want military presence in that Day Spring area because the pirates go there, carry all their fishes, their crayfishes.
Stakeholders believe that the Green Tree Agreement and its innovative approach to conflict resolution was a product of sacrifice, which should be compensated with the provision of adequate infrastructure for residents and refugees of Bakassi. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
Thanks, Michael. And Diba Bari in our Port Harcourt Network Center is next on Nationwide. Hello, it's over to you.
Thank you, Howard, and welcome to Port Harcourt. Towards restoring the Garden City status of Port Harcourt, the River State government has inaugurated a task force on street trading, illegal markets, and motor parks. Ogedinyekwe reports that the task force, which will commence operation from Monday, August 26th, will work with mobile courts to prosecute offenders.
Following the signing into law the bill on River State street trading, illegal markets and motor parks on the 8th of August, aimed at ridding off street traders, illegal markets and motor parks operators from unauthorized places, a task force on street trading, illegal markets and motor parks has been inaugurated by the state government. Governor Wike said the youths engaged for the job have been screened and cleared by the State Security Service and police. He tasked the new employees to carry out their job responsibly.
The work you are doing, it is not for you to go and collect money. If you go and collect money, no problem. But you will collect for a few days and you will be sacked.
The governor wants to ensure that there is sanity on the streets in Port Harcourt.
The task force will consist of 13 zones that will run shifts and operate from morning to 8 p.m. every day. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwe, NTA News.
Nigerian Navy Forward Operating Base Bonny says it has arrested 49 suspects and destroyed over 67 illegal refining sites between April and August 2019 in its fight against economic sabotage in its area of operation. Against the negative impact of those illegal activities on the ecosystem and human health, the Nigerian Navy is adopting community engagement of relevant stakeholders to sensitize the host communities. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
War, arrest and destruction of illegal oil refining sites within his area of responsibility. The commanding officers for the operating base Bonny deemed it necessary to engage the host community in an effort to combat the illicit activity. This informed a sensitization workshop in Bonny Island expected to stem the illegal fraud.
Because the community is a strategic partner when it comes to burden sharing to solve crimes and criminalities. That's why we also feel that let us engage them so that they can also help us to share this burden and enlighten their brothers.
Professor Ibitoru Hart, Dr. Kingsley Bernard, and Lulu Hersham took turns to educate the people on the dangers of illegal oil refining issues and way forward. Key issues of concern highlighted include the negative impact.
We're laying a foundation on an environment that will support ailment, other health effects.
They suggested increased surveillance, modular refinery, safe waste management by the multinationals, investing in alternative income opportunities for the youth in the region as possible solution. From Finima, Bonny, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. Is back to Hawa for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Many thanks to you, Diba Barry. And moving on, Nigeria is marking 3 years of zero cases of the wild polio virus. This is one of the diseases Nigeria has been battling over the years. Some good news there, you might agree. Well, records indicate that with concerted efforts from the federal government and development partners, the country is now on the verge of being declared free of the wild polio virus. Let's hear the details from Chimdima Ndubisi.
3 years ago, Nigeria was on the brink of being declared free of wild polio virus. But something happened. Few cases of the virus were reported in some quarters. Frontline healthcare providers point at insecurity in parts of the nation as major cause of the setback. The federal government, after committing to end the wild polio virus in the country, mounted a rapid and aggressive outbreak response, pumping in 9.8 billion naira into the national immunization program. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency says it swung into action with development partners, increasing the sensitivity of surveillance system. Traditional and religious leaders were also involved to mobilize people to accept vaccination for their children, especially in the hard-to-reach areas. Routine immunization was also strengthened. This saw the increase in pentavalent 3 from 33 to 50% being recorded. 3 years down the line, the agency is sharing a success story.
The 21st day of August 2019 marks exactly 3 years since the last case of white polio virus in Nigeria. So what it really means is that for the last 3 years, not a single child has been reported with paralysis due to wild polio virus. This has never happened in the history of Nigeria. So today is really to acknowledge that milestone. but there's more work to be done.
Certification will now begin. This will be taking several months, will be completed by sometime in the spring of 2020.
Before the certification, the nation is expected to maintain the tempo of strengthening surveillance system for acute flaccid paralysis and routine immunization to prevent reoccurrence of the virus. The agency in charge of immunization says it is confident the certification will come. In Abuja, Chimdemma Ndubisi, NTA News.
And Nigeria is set to make meaningful progress that will yield visible results in the lives of its people, following the domestication of its homegrown analytical framework designed to enable the integration of sustainable development goals. To this effect, relevant players converged on Abuja to brainstorm on its operation. Momso Damien Detti reports.
From the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT, policymakers trooped to this venue. The focus is to validate an integrated sustainable development goals model domestically developed to suit Nigeria's peculiar challenges to meet the 2030 target.
Policies on certain SDGs need to be reviewed.
These facilitators are hoping to prioritize the goals and mainstream them into public policies, plans and budgets.
We integrate ISDG model into the ministry, department and agencies of government. That will trickle down to the local government, 774 local government. What we have done differently and working for us is that both the private sector and public sector are using one tool to have accurate data.
We are happy that we're able to use that model to carry out analysis and costing of projects, programs and policies that will be able to mainstream into our development process.
Nigeria is on a pathway to progress in achieving the SDGs. However, what's needed at this stage is a quantum leap to really get onto track in achieving them. Their local gaps need accelerated investment and action.
The 2030 agenda envisions economic sustainability, social inclusiveness, and environmental resilience, all targeted at improving livelihoods. Momso Damien Dati, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Copyright Commission has reiterated its commitment to continually partner stakeholders in the creative industry to promote effective rights management, proactive enforcement against rights violation, and build linkages at national and international levels. Let's now join Tunde Saiki for that report.
The Nigerian Copyright Commission, NCC, came into existence through Decree 47 of 1988 and was inaugurated in 1989. It was saddled with the responsibilities of enforcement of copyright laws and supporting the creative industries to maximize their potentials.
The copyright industry in Nigeria has done a lot in terms of fostering global image of our culture.
Our goal is to ensure that as children grow up, they begin to value their talents, they value the economic importance, and they also value the works of others.
The Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Moses Ekpo, and the Senate Committee Chairman on Judiciary, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, noted that indeed copyright awareness has impacted positively on the nation's economy and should be sustained.
Nigeria has a lot of creative people, and that if this creativity are totally harnessed, it will add to the economy of this country.
And we must be ready to enhance the workings of NCC in such a way that they can also, embrace the global best practice standard.
The unveiling of the anniversary theme and logo and the presentation of new learning kits for school children on copyrights were highlights of the event. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
And still on the creative arts, in a bid to address societal ills and foster more cordial relationship with Nigeria, using the creative industry as a vehicle, the Public Affairs section of the United States Consulate General in Lagos has inaugurated a documentary film festival. Imole Ayo Tokedi was there for NTA.
There are countless biases that affect all of us. I wanted to explore unconscious bias and how it relates to gender and race.
The documentary, titled Bias,
is one of the movies screened at the U.S. Consulate Documentary Film Festival. The movie makes reference to the toxic effects of bias, which makes headlines in the day-to-day life of Nigeria and United States. The 4-day film festival will be screening 8 award-winning contemporary documentaries from the American films.
We are also intimately involved with the creative community. We especially support that community's efforts to use the power of film, music, dance, and literature to expose society's ills or celebrate the brilliance and artistry that also form the human experience.
This is another opportunity where we can use this platform to raise awareness to this issue and to raise awareness to child and adult sex trafficking that occurs in Nigeria.
Panelists expressed optimism that the film festival will help address national societal ills.
I'm looking forward to see thought-provoking movies that push the range, that challenge questions, that challenge stereotypes.
In terms of movies related to empowerment, they always create a very interesting story. It helps to build other people up, it helps to inspire people.
Film professionals and enthusiasts are of the view that more movie productions focused on behavioral change should be produced to foster adequate understanding and acceptance. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokide, NTA News.
And for Nigeria to achieve technological advancement, adequate funding must be channeled to the sector. This was the consensus on the heels of the United Nations International Youth Day celebration in Lagos. Ken Igbeluge reports.
These young Nigerians in different professions have one thing in common: to discuss ways of improving the standard of education in the country.
Our conversation is centered on transforming education while trying to rethink the present. This theme highlights the need to make global education entirely inclusive and accessible for everyone.
Towards revamping education, the European Union in Nigeria is to spend 8 billion naira in the sector. The European Union since 2014 has been supporting young Nigerians with scholarship to study and work with European higher education institutions.
By adding our voice on the best practices and how we can best contribute to the Nigerian visions, to the Nigerian policies, and making sure that those 13 million Nigerians between the age of 5 and 14 that are currently outside the education system will get a better opportunity.
To ensure that what comes out of the schools, of the universities, are the skills that are needed by the current economy, especially the digital age.
Apart from developing infrastructure in the sector, speakers agreed that engaging quality teachers and providing good welfare schemes for them would to a large extent solve the challenges in the sector. In Lagos, Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
And the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology is working with stakeholders to address ethical issues in the application of science and technology in the country. The Permanent Secretary, Beatrice Busel, said this at the opening of a 2-day stakeholders meeting for the harmonization of the National Bioethics Committee framework and policy documents. Let's now join Bem Unyi for more.
With the rapidly changing environment, coupled with the advancement of technology and scientific innovations, experts are of the view that man's activities must take into cognizance the application of these new technologies of great potential. This is to ensure that they are safe and environmentally friendly and socially sustainable. And this is where the intervention of bioethics in the society, scientific innovations and societal concerns becomes imperative. The need to reflect on the moral dimension and advances in science and technology has in many areas of the world led to the establishment of various forms of bioethics committees. As a first step towards establishing Nigeria's Bioethics Committee, the country is currently harmonizing its National Bioethics Committee framework and the policy.
Climate change, societal unrest, respect to persons, humanities, life sciences, information and communication, migration, to mention a few, are all factors that affect human life, which are more and more being considered as integral part of our ethics.
The National Bioethics Committee is neither a committee to compete with the already established National Health Research Ethics Committee, nor is it a committee to take over functions of existing ethics committees. The National Bioethics Committee will attend to all issues we think are a challenge to life, dignity, and freedom of persons as it affects us as a nation, and also provide advice on how best to tackle these issues.
The committee, when formed, will act as an advisory body to the president and policy makers. And this is the basic essence for the establishment of the National Bioethics Committee. In Abuja, Justin Bemuni, NTA News.
And for stories from Nigeria's northeast, it's over to Abubakar in Maiduguri.
Good afternoon to you too, Hawa, and thank you for joining us in Maiduguri. Borno State government is to construct 1,000 houses in Mungunu for the internally displaced persons taking refuge in the town. Governor Babagana Umara stated this during his official engagement, including marking the World Humanitarian Day with the IDPs. Mohammed Guni reports.
Addressing residents of Mungunu on arrival, Governor Babagana Umara noted the plight and that of the IDPs as a result of the insurgency and further stressed commitment to providing succor to them. He then unfolded plans of the state government to construct 1,000 houses, upgrade the General Hospital Munguno to the status of a specialist hospital, and to construct higher Islamic college there. Governor Babagana Umara then visited the site where the proposed 1,000 housing units are to be constructed, 500 units on each side of the road. At the General Hospital Munguno, the governor charged Alima, an NGO operating in the hospital, to always consider local content in their recruitment of staff and rehabilitate the hospital in line with its mandate, or the state government takes over the rehabilitation. The governor also directed payment of 3 years pension arrears for Dr. Isa Akimbode, who retired in the hospital but stayed back to render voluntary service to the community and was given contract appointment last year. Professor Babagana Umara also directed construction of 3-bedroom flat for the doctor who has been living in a zinc makeshift houses. Governor Babagana Umara also met with civilian JTA, vigilante and hunters from Kukawa, Marti, Munguno and surrounding communities, where he sought to know from the leadership of each group the challenges facing them in their operations. Most of them mentioned lack of patrol vehicles and other logistics, as well as non-payment of allowances. The governor assured them of immediate provision of their needs, as well as commencement of payment of allowances of 15,000 naira each at the end of September. He charged them to patrol the major routes linking the areas. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Koni, NTA News.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara has inaugurated members of the State Executive Council, special advisors, as well as Deputy Chief of Staff, with a call on them and all citizens to dedicate themselves to the task of making the 10-point development agenda of the state a reality. The occasion, which had in attendance dignitaries from all walks of life, was held at the Government House, Maiduguri. Here again is Mohammed Guni with more details of the story.
The commissioners were sworn in 3 batches by the State Chief Judge, Justice Kashim Zanna, at a ceremony presided over by Governor Babagana Umara. Also sworn in were 7 special advisors and Deputy Chief of Staff to the Office of the Deputy Governor. Professor Babagana Umara had, while congratulating the appointees, reminded them that they have been selected based on merit, wealth of experience and dedication to humanity, and charged them to justify the competence reports in them.
I must reiterate the fact that you were only carefully selected out of so many of your kind. And therefore, the government and people of Borno State expect nothing less than the best from all of you.
The governor directed the commissioners to complete all projects embarked on by the previous administration, and that all the newly constructed primary schools should commence academic activities in September this year. He further charged them to ensure that all financial requirements are made in line with the budgetary provision to avoid deficit, and should develop synergy to ensure that the 2020 budget is a budget of reality. The governor also advised the appointees to remain in their offices, make themselves accessible, and to declare assets at the Court of Conduct Bureau. Professor Isa Hussein, on behalf of his colleagues, thanked the governor for finding them worthy to serve. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Koni, NTA News.
Some residents of Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, continue to count their losses following a heavy downpour which destroyed homes and properties worth millions of naira. Jesse Tafida went round the metropolis and has the situation report.
The rain, which started at about 11 o'clock in the night and lasted for about 5 hours, though a blessing, has displaced some residents of Dala, Wulari, Bolori, Jedare Polo and Pumpumari, as well as Dambua Road, among others. Some residents of Dala and Wulari were relocating to areas without flood, seeking for refuge as their houses were fully submerged.
Almost every year, there's always flooding in this place. And we discovered the only solution to this place is not just only a dam, but if they can do a drainage for us.
I was lying there, I just feel as if water has covered my face. My neighbors are shouting, some of them are removing their things. As you can see, look at the way water is. I didn't even remove anything from my house.
As at the time of filing this report, NTA camera lens captured canoe conveying people as a means of transportation at the cost of 70 naira per person. Some of the situation as observed by NTA News was as a result of people building on waterways and blocked drainages, thereby diverting water into homes.
There is special issues, areas that were expecting the flood, most have been cleared. The governor has given the go-ahead, which we have started clearing them, and we have cleared some of the areas. But areas that has no water channel of where it will go, so that's why we're having the challenges.
Although the Borno state government is working in earnest to evacuate drainages, residents are appealing for the extension of the gesture to other areas. In Maiduguri, Jesse Tafida, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Time now to take a break to bring you more reports shortly.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. Fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic. Be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Thanks for rejoining us. Sports now. Chinazum Nwosu wins Nigeria's first gold medal at the ongoing 2019 African Games in Morocco. Kene